Hello, beautiful Earth Angels. Welcome. Welcome to Earth Angels Unite podcast 135, Breaking the Lack Cycle. Lack shows up in two forms, financial and emotional, and both are rooted in fear and separation. Financial lack looks like scarcity, worry, overgiving, while emotional lack shows up as jealousy, comparison, competition. These patterns convince you that you're not enough and that there's not enough to go around. Your angels help you bridge the 3D world of separation with the 5D consciousness of abundance and unity through the relax, release, receive process. So you can truly live in the flow of divine provision and support. Breaking the lack cycle opens you up to your true worth and the benevolence of the universe, which I really love. So, my name is Jill Kempner, angel coach and author of my debut book, Receiving from Your Angels, 4 Practices to Heal Your Pain with Angel Love. And I'm honored to be here to share my medicine, to help you to heal that pain once and for all. I'm going to help you to break that lack cycle. And in these podcasts, I'm sharing teachings from my debut book, and I'm really helping you, right? I'm creating a space of transformation, that you come one person and you leave another person, that you leave transformed by receiving the medicine of the angelic realm, the medicine from the pain, the wound, right? So we're bringing through helping you to relax and cherish your body, to receive and trust your intuition, to open up to your next level of angelic pain relief. We're here to break these cycles. And we've been talking about 4 cycles, for the main cycles that we're breaking as earth angels, as cycle breakers, as empaths. And so as an angel coach, so I served as a massage therapist and a yoga teacher for 20 years before evolving into this work I do as an angel coach, as an author. And during my massage career, I studied energy medicine. And so I did a book talk last night at Unity Church in Naperville. It was so beautiful. Everyone was so curious. And I mean, we could have spent hours talking about everything. And it was a gift. It was a really beautiful blessing to share my story, to talk about who the angels are, to help people understand why we want to even receive love from the angels. And there was some piece of that I wanted to ground. Well, it's all good. So as an angel coach, what I help my clients do is to heal the pain in their bodies with the love of the angels through the relax, release, receive process, whether that's physical or emotional pain. So understand that the physical pain, whether it's inflammation, chronic pain, an autoimmune issue, the cancer journey, that pain is a portal, that pain is a teacher, that pain can be turned into medicine. So all of my work, right, is about the alchemy of turning what is heavy, what is leaden, into spiritual gold, right? Into lightness, into healing, into the medicine. So it's all about getting the gems of the journey. So I hope what I share here today on this beautiful new moon will support the alchemy of any lack you're carrying in your system. So I want to welcome everyone who's going to be here live today. Hi, Marie. Welcome. Hi, Deborah. Namaste. And everyone who's going to connect with the replay, to be surrounded in a circle of empowerment, unconditional love, healing, and miracles. And happy, right? Happy new moon. I think we're getting really close to Scorpio season. I think it's maybe starts tomorrow. So we're in that last day of Libra. And this new moon is, right, it's potent because new moons are actually dark. And in that darkness, we can release the lack, the pain, the fear, whatever cycle you're breaking. We can release that heaviness, we can release that leaden feeling and plant the seeds of new beginnings. So, new moons are this time where we press the reset button and we begin again. And it's often a time where we redevote to our intentions, to our soul's mission, to our highest timeline. And so I share, about the lack cycle. I just find it really interesting, the timing of this. So I'm going to share a little bit of my story and, just the downloads I've been receiving about this cycle. So one thing, thank you, angels. So as I'm preparing for Angelic Cycle Breakers, which begins next Wednesday, October 29th, my soul said, bring these cycles that earth angels, right? Highly sensitive, highly intuitive souls, cycle breakers, those that are here to change patterns, like ancient patterns, and those empaths who feel so deeply, bring to the surface the main cycles that we're breaking. And that's where these podcasts, we talked about the pain cycle, we've talked about the trauma cycle, and we talked about the lack cycle today. We're about to talk about the lack cycle. And part of why I'm bringing these all to the surface for healing is because I personally experienced them. And want to share the alchemy that's happened for me, the transformation that's happened for me around these cycles. So when I share everything, it's with deep compassion for myself, deep compassion for my family, my parents, and for everyone who's going through this. It's very interesting because as I'm up leveling my consciousness and up leveling who I'm here to serve and up leveling my my content, my conversation, it's the patterns get louder, right? So I'm really because I've been in lack, I'm sensitive to seeing the lack that other people are experiencing. And then knowing I need to shift back into, wait, they're a sovereign soul. Wait, they have an angel team. Wait, their true essence is abundance, even though they're experiencing this pattern. So it's been very interesting. So I'm very familiar with the lack cycle because I grew up in it. My childhood was steeped in financial instability. My dad was a bricklayer and his work was seasonal. And when it was good, it was good. And when it stopped, everything became uncertain. There was no savings. There was no safety net. There was no predictability. My mom worked incredibly hard as a waitress, trying to stretch a little into a lot. And many times there wasn't enough. I would say there never was enough, but there were a lot of times there wasn't. So we lived in roach-infested apartments and moved constantly. I went to 6 grammar schools because we could never stay rooted in one place for too long. So, and as many of you know, sorry, I'm gonna take a sip of water. When I was 11, my father was murdered. And he stepped into a robbery in progress. So he was, a hero. But that tragedy deepened, not just the grief, of course, but the imprint of lack. Hello, say hi if you're here. This is tripping on me today. Lack of safety, lack of protection, lack of support. That experience taught my nervous system that everything good could disappear without warning. So later, my mom, after my dad passed, she pulled us into the middle class by becoming a nurse, a registered nurse. And she worked around the clock. I always tell myself I'm not going to cry. um, she worked around the clock and made enormous sacrifices to give us stability. And she did. I ended up going to the same, I from 6th grade to 8th grade, I went to the same school. So I graduated middle school. Went to the same high school, which I was determined to do no matter what my zip code was, right? And we lived in nicer apartments for longer. It did make a difference. But even though our zip code changed, the internal imprint of lack was still living in me. Because lack starts in the nervous system long before it shows up in the bank account. So as an adult, when I met my soulmate, I still had these imprints, right? I carried those imprints forward. So we had an enormous Irish Catholic wedding with nearly 400 people. It was amazing, beautiful. I mean, I'm marrying my soulmate, so that's all that really mattered. But it launched us into marriage already in debt. And then came, well, my psych hospital, the dark night of the soul, an economic recession, 2 major floods in our house, and 2 small children. So by the time I began transitioning into my from my massage career, my long held massage career, into becoming an angel professional, we had accumulated over $60,000 in credit card debt. And that number wasn't just debt, it was fear. And underneath that fear was emotional lack. Feeling not good enough, not supported, not worthy of receiving all the things, right? Love, abundance, self-worth. So the emotional lack came from my earliest wounds, right? Absorbing my mom's shame and survival stress, internalizing the instability of my childhood, unconsciously carrying the trauma of my father's death. So financial lack was the surface, but emotional lack was the root. So I'm going to pause there and just say, does this resonate? Obviously not the details necessarily of the story, hi Gil, but the understanding of the core of lack, right? Being the emotional lack. So I have to tell you guys this because this is so wild and I'm still unpacking it, but I had a very vivid dream right before I woke up. And I realized that it's connected with breaking the lack cycle. So my dream was that I found an ancient coin. It was a penny. And the date, it was dated 1357. And I was like, oh my gosh, it was heavy, it was ornate, it felt clearly valuable. Interestingly enough, it had a horse on it, and the horse was really highlighted. So it was a penny, but it was just so cool. So before anyone had questioned it, I knew it was a treasure. But the moment I stepped into the energy field of my family, which was now kind of my current family, let's just put it that way, family, my mind immediately shifted to maybe this is worthless. Maybe someone just threw it away. What was interesting is it was outside of a shop, not necessarily, it wasn't a pawn shop. It was a valuable coin shop where I could go there and have this coin appraised. So I realized that was the moment when lack started to take over, not when not when we don't have, but when we stop trusting the value of what we already have. So the dreams show me that lack isn't necessarily a money wound, it was a worthiness wound. The treasure is real. The work is letting myself receive it, right? And that's where the relax, release, receive process comes from. And I also looked up the numerology. I won't go into the numerology of the 1357, but it was like really cool. And I was like, wow. So I'm still unpacking the dream, but it felt relevant that I had this dream right before we're about to talk about this today, right? This really, really insidious, painful cycle of lack. So this is where so many earth angels and cycle breakers get confused. There are actually two types of lack. We have financial lack, which is what we can see, right? Scarcity, fear around money or investing in yourself, under earning, debt, instability, financial instability. Emotional lack is what we feel. And it was interesting because one of my cards this month was release jealousy. Hello, welcome. And I don't actually find myself to be a very jealous person. So I was surprised I got that card. But then the angels reminded me about the emotional lack that we'd be transforming this month, among many other things many other cycles we're breaking, right? And that's jealousy, right? The emotional lack is jealousy, comparison, shrinking, not enoughness, feeling the fear of being seen, of being supported, contraction, right? Emotional lack sounds like, I don't want to be a burden. I don't want to take too much. I don't want to outshine anyone. Oh, I shouldn't need help. Wow. Or I don't trust support to stay, which I think resonates with me. It's a nervous system pattern, right? Emotional lack is a nervous system pattern born from separation. And this is the teaching, one of the core teachings the angels wanted to bring in how we can begin to transform, right, lack. And we can also think of lack not just about money, but time, energy, connections, resources, opportunities. I'm just listening for a minute. Okay. So symptoms of emotional lack can look like overgiving because you don't feel safe receiving, undercharging because you don't value, because you don't believe people will invest in you, people pleasing instead of receiving support. Emotional lack can look like shrinking or dimming your gifts or even minimizing them so other people don't feel threatened or triggered. Feeling behind. Actually, my coach did a whole teaching about being behind. It was so powerful. Like, stop saying you're behind. Like, literally just stop saying it. It's a thought error. And you're actually negating divine order when you do that. Or feeling like you're not doing enough, right? You're not doing enough. You're not enough. So remember, comparison erodes our confidence, right? What did they say? Comparison is the thief of joy, right? So when we understand this is not, there's no judgment from the angelic realm. So if we're feeling like comparison or jealousy, it's just this lack pattern showing up to be dissolved, to be healed, to bring the light to. And it's just the ego's way of trying to control its environment. So, jealousy that masks grief, competition rooted in fear that there isn't room for you, feeling less than or better than, right? The inferior superiority, really, that's actually the lack energy, right? We're just like illuminating all the ways that lack actually shows up, and we need to start busting those bubbles and releasing that. Feeling like your needs are a burden. I think this is really big for empaths, right? We can like hold all of this for everybody else, but our own need is a burden. Or that's a fear, right? Struggling to ask for and receive support. Fear of expansion because receiving more feels unsafe. Fear of success because it threatens an old identity. So many ways emotional lack shows up, right? The fear of being visible, because if you're seen, you're afraid you're going to be judged, right? I have a client that's working through that right now beautifully with her angels, right? Judged, rejected, abandoned, exiled, all the things. So the angels are saying these aren't necessarily mindset problems, right? They're actually safety issues, safety problems, if you will. The body does not believe it's safe to receive. So, from the human perspective, lack is separation. From the angelic perspective, lack is an illusion. So, because, we're talking about, these amazing divine beings who love you unconditionally. They're here illuminating where you're still holding on to lack, really to have you go back to reclaiming your magnificence, which really is about knowing you're divinely worthy no matter what. So the angels are the bridge between the two, restoring connection to source, reminding your body that you're supported, and helping you feel safe enough to receive. Right? That's a big part of why the relaxation is the gateway to angelic pain relief, because when we make the time to physically relax, emotionally relax, mentally relax, and spiritually relax, we actually settle into our true nature, which is abundant, which is worthy, which is valuable. Thank you, angels. So this is why my work with clients is so transformative, because I'm not simply helping them change their thoughts about money or worthiness. I'm helping their nervous system relearn that it's safe to be supported, it's safe to expand, it's safe to be provided for, it's safe to receive, it's safe to shine. Right? It's safe to shine, which I really love. So, when I've witnessed this healing, the healing of the lack cycle many times. One client came to me in deep financial fear, constantly bracing against loss. She didn't feel safe investing, didn't trust the port to stay, and carried the belief that she had to earn her right to receive. So through the relax, release, receive process, she reestablished safety first. So safety is the energy that transforms lack, whether it's that financial lack or that emotional lack, right? So she reestablished safety first, not strategy. When her nervous system felt supported, she began receiving with more ease. Her financial life changed because her internal experience of support changed. Like, isn't that great? I had another client that was carrying emotional lack. She was constantly comparing herself to others and doubting the value of her gifts. She was really minimizing her own gifts. And there was this sort of inner critic. So she kept shrinking and waiting for proof that she belonged. What she was really longing for was permission to take up space, to be herself, to own her own gifts. Once she received her angelic fuel and learned how to anchor safety into her body, her visibility expanded naturally, right? She didn't force the confidence, she relaxed into worthiness. So, this is just some of what I help my coaching clients with through their daily angel practice, through the devotion to that intention. That's why intention is so important, right? Energy follows intention. So it's understanding, like, as you're listening to this, what fuel will transform the lack monster that you're experiencing right now. Let me just see what the angels were saying. So I love how all of this is unfolding so beautifully. So if you're feeling yourself inside of any of these examples, this is why I offer the free consult, the angelic pain relief consult. So here's what I'm confident about. Two things. I'm confident that your angels know how to heal your pain. The second thing I'm confident about is I have the tools, the messages, the medicine, and the modalities to help you to access that answer, that pain relief answer. Um, so in this consult, right, it's a 1 hour consult over Zoom. It's a heartfelt, compassionate space where I'm listening to you and your angels. And I'm going to share what your pain is really about. It's often not what you think. I'm also going to share the angelic perspective of your pain, what your angels are saying about the pain, because the goal is to get the gem and turn the wound into wisdom. And that creates instant relief. And then one of the goals of the consult is for you to walk away with your fuel, right? What healing energy, what healing intention is going to transform that pain? And then based on everything we talked about, I'm going to pull an archangel for you that's going to walk by your side to transform that pain. I'm getting a clair audience ringing in my left ear right now as I said that. So that's cool. So there's something about the archangels, right? Yes, that they want me to highlight. Thank you. That's going to walk by your side on your healing journey. And if we're a good fit, I will share the details of my coaching programs with you. Right now I have a 3-month coaching program, a 6-month coaching program. I also have angel healing packages. If you're not ready to jump all the way into coaching, but you want to start receiving, you want to start relaxing, releasing, and receiving, I do have angel healing packages as well. So the consult is obviously for the coaching programs, because what I do in the consult is we talk about how I'm going to help you. I mean, I could just, email you the 4-page program and you can say yes or no, but it's about having that conversation so we can get a lot of clarity before moving into that coaching container. So I hope that resonates. And yeah, I'm booked in October, but I really only have a couple of openings each month. So I think at this point we're looking into September, looking into November. I might have one more opening in October. So get that consult form filled out. I'll put it in the chat if the angels remind me later, the comments. Thank you. All right. So I'm being guided to actually pull an archangel that's going to help you transform lack right now. And then we'll do a little inner journey. All right. So how is it that you are releasing the lack cycle from your nervous system with ease and grace this week in this new moon portal? What's the archangel? I feel like there's a lot of them coming to the surface that want to help. My buddy, Archangel Raphael, the healer angel. I love him. Angel therapy. How are we going to release? Give your cares and worries to us angels and allow us to take your burdens. So Archangel Raphael is going to be here with his green healing light, supporting us in restoring our true nature, our true our vitality, our worthiness, our the benevolence of the divine. which I really love. So let's do a little short inner journey just to ask, where is this lack cycle that the angels are highlighting for you? Okay, so just taking a moment, closing your eyes, and taking a few cleansing breaths. Bring your hands to your heart as you anchor into the present moment, into your body, into your energetic roots, relaxing your head, your shoulders, your belly. And we welcome the beautiful angels and archangels here who love you unconditionally, especially Archangel Raphael and his emerald green ray of rejuvenation and healing. So, seeing yourself in a bubble of green light, and then Raphael taking this, I guess it's like a bucket, a chalice, a cup, and just pouring green, the energy of green, of vitality, of health, of abundance through the crown chakra, down the center channel. So breathe and let yourself receive this health, this love, this vitality, this wealth, this abundance, the abundance of healing, and let it go to the spaces. And there you go, spaces and places within you that need healing. And then we ask, beloved angels, where am I still believing in lack? Where is the lack energy showing up in my body, in my emotional body, good, in my mind? Illuminate the painful lack thought. Wow, that was really great. Illuminate that, for me, that lack emotion that's still living in there. Thank you. I'm willing to see where I'm still holding lack in my body, in my energy body. Thank you for illuminating it. And now, in the darkness of the new moon, trusting your intuition, trusting your clairs, trusting what you see, feel, hear, know, sense, and smell. In this sacred moment in time, trust your angels have your back. Trust that you are loved beyond measure. Trust that you are worthy. You are valuable. You are magnificent. Oh, and just notice where you feel it in your body. If there's a part where, if you notice any tightness or contraction, where that the root of this is living. There's nothing to fix in this moment. Just soften as your angels witness you. And then Raphael coming in, giving you a hug. And as he hugs you, it's almost like a little loving squeeze. It doesn't hurt at all, but it's like he's squeezing out that little bit of lack, filling you with abundance of health, wealth, vitality, energy, flow, love. And so as we bring our hands to our hearts in prayer mudra, we dedicate the healing that you've received today to all our relations in all directions of time, knowing your angels are here, loving you, bowing to you, sealing our inner journey with a namaste. Namaste, everyone. Okay, I just love that. If you want to share something about your inner journey in the chat, I'd love to hear from you. You could also put it in the, you can also message me as well. So thank you, angels. So right now I'm magnetizing those earth angels, those cycle breakers, those empaths who are ready to end a cycle, either from your personal life or from your individual life and the collective or your lineage, right? So if this resonates with you and you're ready to go deeper into releasing whatever pattern it is, it may not be the lack cycle, but the lack pattern into a level of safety and receptivity, I invite you into the Angelic Cycle Breaker series. So this is a sacred group coaching container. It's a 7-week group coaching container where we're working with the angels to rewire your nervous system so you feel safe being supported, receiving support, right? The title of my book is Receiving from Your Angels. So in the Angels 101 last night, we were really just talking about who the angels are. I think they left with a lot of curiosity around, well, now how, right? How do I connect? Now I know who the angels are. How do I receive their love, right? And I'm like, well, the relax, release, receive process outlined in my book. And if you want to journey through my book, of course, I'd be so honored. And that's what we're going to be doing in this Angelic Cycle Breaker series, is we're reading a section of the book and then we're coming to live it, embody it. So in that 2-hour coaching container, we're setting our crystal clear intention. You're relaxing and receiving from your angels, and you're receiving coaching, insights, wisdom, medicine from me based on that angelic pain relief question I ask you. And the 7-week coaching container is 6 2-hour Zoom classes recorded, and the Facebook group where the conversation continues. So I have a private Facebook group just for that class. So when your body feels safe, the lack loses its grip. So we're not forcing abundance, we're restoring your capacity to receive. So if you're ready to feel safe in being supported and receiving more than you've ever received before, increasing your capacity to receive, I invite you to join us. I would love to walk with you through that journey. And so understand that this group coaching container, right, is providing accountability, alchemy, and alignment. Accountability to stay devoted to reading the book, stay devoted to the practices, stay devoted to that angelic connection, right? It's not staying devoted to me, it's staying devoted to you. And the alchemy is when the angels love, wisdom, right? Because we have to understand that when we discover the deeper meaning of our pain, it begins to dissolve. So we're always asking, what lesson am I learning from this pain? That's where the alchemy is, right? Instead of cringing and trying to get rid of it, we're facing it head on with the love and light of our soul, of our angels, of the divine, of each other. And alignment with your angel team, with your soul's highest timeline, with that fuel that will break the cycle. So if this is exciting to you, I'd love for you to join us. We're about half full right now. And I am offering a free chat if you're wanting to get clear on the cycle you're breaking and see if the Angelic Cycle Breaker series is a good fit for you. And yeah, I'd love for you to join us. So I'll put that link in there. The other thing I want to say is that it was really cute. I was talking to a potential student yesterday, a young man, and I told him how much it was. And he had the reaction that I want people to have. I said, well, it's $189. And he's like, for the 7 weeks, for the 7-week group coaching container, like what I told him, he thought it was thousands of dollars. And I was like, that's the value that I wanted like a person to have about it, right? So it's valued at like way over even $599. And I'm doing it for $189 because in this universal 9 year, I want to help you break that cycle. In this universal 9 year, I want to share my medicine to the next level and initiate more people into their connection with their angels, the relax, release, receive process, and freaking breaking that cycle. Like, I want you to get so many results that you're like, that was worth, I mean, even every penny doesn't even seem right. So it's really a powerful, powerful container. And I'd love for you to join us. So we'll leave it at that. I love you all. Let's work with Raphael this week. Release that emotional lack, the mental lack, the spiritual lack, the karmic lack, the financial lack, whatever's coming up for you, give it to Raphael. Let him take the cares, burdens, worries, and concerns to the divine for transmutation. And what lesson am I learning from this lack? What lesson am I learning from this pain? Keep asking that, right? Have the courage, because this is a courageous journey, to receive that answer, right? And if you need help with that, reach out. All right. I love you all. I hope you have an amazing, amazing day. I always send this. Thank you, angels, for reminding me. I'm going to be at Sacred Ground tonight in Arlington Heights for the Healing Angels meditation. So excited that it's a new moon. So excited about the download of what meditation to share with everyone tonight. And really looking forward to that beautiful community there. And of course, all the crystals and how they raise our vibration and open our intuitive channels and all the things. And I would love to see you there if you're local. It's from 7 to 8 p.m. tonight. And I hope you have a beautiful new moon. So stay connected to your angels and we will talk soon. I always send the replay in my newsletter. So if you're not signed up for that, you can do that on my website, jillkempnerhealing.com. All right. Love you all. Have an awesome day, week. Thanks for being here. Namaste. Thanks, Dharma Bum, Gil, Deb, Marie, and everyone else who was here. Love you. Namaste.